What is up, my cutouts? Cardboard Ninja here, coming at you with part 2 of the Steppenwolf's dev vlog update. So, start with, please forgive me if I sound like crap. Probably don't, but I might, because I recently got over a cold, or COVID, or something. There's no way to know. But anyway, feel like crap. But that is not going to stop me from going over these dev vlog updates. Look at this sick gun, right? Super sick. Wait a minute, is that a revolver? Oh no, does it have only 3 shots? Uh-oh, here we go again. Aw, shit. Here we go again. Legendary revolver. So, anybody who knows, there's already a gun in this game that's a revolver called the Nagul. It has a reload-based perk, and so does this one. They haven't come up with a name for it yet, or at least they haven't released a name for it other than Legendary Revolver. I don't know why they would do this to those Steppenwolves. That feels kind of messed up, but whatever. It is what it is. So they have not yet said whether or not this is similar to the Nagul insofar as that it would be like an autocannon, where the damage would be bullet blast. It seems that way based on the fact that it's firing only 3 shots, but who knows? It could just be straight direct damage. It could just be straight bullet damage for all we know. But odds are good. Best guess would be that this is going to operate very similar to the Nagul in how it deals damage, meaning it's going to be like 60% bullet, 40% blast, or something like that. But what's the perk, right? Let's just assume that it does bullet blast, but what exactly is the perk? Well, this one's weird. Every other revolver in the game requires that you fire all of the shots in the cylinder, and then the entire cylinder reloads. This one is going to be different. You get 3 shots, exactly like the Nagul, which didn't work out too well for the Nagul, but you can load in between each shot. So if you guys have ever played old-timey first-person shooters where there were shotguns and you'd fire a shot from your shotgun and you'd reload in between each shot or something like that, and then maybe you'd shoot like once or twice really quickly, you can do that here. Well, here's what's really also weird, though. Remember, it's only 3 shots. That is not a lot of shots. So if you fire twice in rapid succession, it basically means you're going to be eating the full reload. But that's all right. So the other thing is, as you shoot, if I recall correctly, you hit your opponent and you generate a charge that charges the weapon's perk. Because once again, they've learned, and the operation of a weapon isn't going to be the perk of the weapon for any longer. So a good example of that would be like the piercer. It doesn't have a perk. It is a piercer, right? You get the idea, right? In this instance, they're saying that as you shoot people and not miss, specifically and not miss, you generate charges that expedite the speed of your reloads. So the more times you hit, the faster you will reload your gun. As you miss, you lose charges so that you reload slower. Yeah. So the other thing is, and this is a really weird feature, each round reloads slower than the last. That's what they're saying, but in reality, this doesn't sound like that. How do I put this? It's not that meaningful. And the reason why it's not that meaningful is because there's only 3 fucking shots in the gun. So if you have 3 shots in the gun you fire, it means that there's only 3 stages of reload. There's reloading 1 round, reloading your first projectile, reloading your second projectile, but the second you fire your third projectile, it goes into the full reload mode, which is the same thing as every other revolver in the entire game, where you discard the entire cartridge and then you reload the whole cartridge. So in reality, this thing only has a reload mechanic based around the first 2 shots. But anyway, it just takes very long to reload each subsequent round. The round, not full like amount of time it takes to reload. Each round takes longer. So let's just pretend and say that it takes 1 second to reload your 1 shot. So you shoot once, 1 second reload. The second shot could take like 2 seconds. So if you fire 2 shots, it goes from a 1 second reload to a total of 3 second reload. Because I assume that it would take 2 seconds to load the second shot and 1 second to load the first. It seems overly complicated for a gun that's just an autocannon. You know, it feels like there's a Rube Goldberg-esque design here that doesn't need to be here. It's like, okay, so here's the deal. The first shot, as long as you're shooting one shot and spamming reload after every single shot, it's fast. But if you shoot twice, oh, fuck you. You're going to get screwed. It's going to totally destroy your shot cadence. And God help you if you ever fire that third bullet. Now, here's the real question. How's this going to work with the Manitou? Does anyone have any idea how this is supposed to work with the Manitou? The Manitou reloads your bullets faster based on the number of missing rounds in the chamber. So that would mean that if you were to fire 2 shots and then activate the Manitou's perk to instantly reload the full cylinder, would that work off of the decreased reload speed that this gun has when it's fired 2 shots? This is terrible. Manitou's a bad cabin. This gun doesn't seem like it's going to work. Unless this thing is slinging down like 700 damage, high explosive rounds, in which case this will be just amazing. But if everything is firing like Nagul shots, I don't know. I don't know. Feels like this isn't going to be too strong. I'm going to guesstimate damage because, again, it is a legendary. It is a revolver. They didn't say it was a revolver autocannon, but I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I would guesstimate that the bullet damage would be between 145 and 180, and its blast component would be 40% of that. That's my guess, because I don't see it being that much more powerful than that. I don't know. Steppenwolves are supposed to be about big guns and big bangs. It doesn't feel like it. That doesn't feel like it. Legendary rocket launcher, big bangs. What an amazing transition. I did not even plan that transition, but here we are. Legendary rocket launcher. The motto of the new Steppenwolf heavy rocket launcher is simple and to the point: more rockets is better than less rockets. Now, if you'll note, there's another revolver-esque thing going on in the back of this thing. Long story short is that as you land your rocket shots, you generate charges. This sounds familiar, I've heard. But as you land your rocket shots, you generate charges. And every time you get a charge, you fire more rockets. Literally. So it loads an additional cylinder. If I'm right, I think that this is like the extension of the frontal course rockets. So this would be similar to the Locust, where it looks like you're probably gonna be firing 2, and then it'll be 3, and then 4, then 5, and then 6. Assuming that you fire 2 base, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe maximum. I mean, that could be very interesting. So, but if half or less of the rockets hit the enemy, then you lose a charge. Meaning that let's assume you're firing 7 rockets. That's a guess. I'm not saying that it is 7 rockets, but let's say it is. Let's assume you fire 7 rockets and less than half hit. Let's say you hit with 2. It doesn't really matter. Next time you fire, you're only firing 6 rockets, and so on and so forth. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, that's an interesting mechanic. It comes down to how much damage each rocket does. I mean, again, this looks just like the Pyralid. It looks just like the Wasp. I mean, that could be interesting. I mean, but it's so weird because it doesn't seem like the Steppenwolves. Again, like, Steppenwolves are big, heavy, military-esque vehicles, whereas this is like a very light, small weapon. But who am I to say, right? I think that this one could be interesting. If this is the same size as the Wasp and the Pyralid, it might be a little bit taller. I think this might be like a 2x3 or something like that. Then it could be easily protected on your build, and who knows, it might be great for hovers. Ironically enough, Steppenwolves, the ones that are all about the legs. But yeah, no, this could be actually really interesting. I don't know how meta it would be, because there's no way for me to predict that. I think that now is not a good time to start predicting which of these guns, if any of them, are ever going to be meta. I mean, no one knew the Triton was going to be as bullshit as it was. I mean, think about it. Hold on a second. Think about it. It's like, oh, it's a shotgun. Okay, well, shotguns aren't in the meta right now. And it's lances. Oh, lances haven't been meta forever. Yeah, I know. But apparently it's like peanut butter and motherfucking chocolate. You throw that together, you got yourself a Reese's peanut butter cup. Sponsored by Reese's, by the way. This, just kidding. Not sponsored by Reese's. But yeah, no, apparently peanut butter and chocolate. It's like they gave it enough damage that it charged quickly enough that the lances went off, and they did did plenty of damage underneath people's builds. It turns out it was super meta. Who knew? So I'm not going to put myself out on the limb on this one to find out if either of these are meta, but I'm probably going to say this one's not going to be. This feels like the Charon, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong again. Maybe it's not firing bullet blast. Maybe it's firing pure blast projectiles downrange, and each blast projectile is doing like 240 or 250 or something like that, and I'm looking like an asshole again. But unless that happens, I'm not feeling this one. But yeah, no, rockets, they're always good. And of course, coming up is going to be new structural parts. We've got, of course, new fenders, and I think this is going to be a new bumper. So cool. We can always use more bumpers. I don't know. I just always love more bumpers and new structural parts. They're always fun to see. Though I think that what we need is I know saying a rework on old fenders is never going to happen, but a rework on old fenders, basically to make it so that they can fit around the more modern movement parts would be pretty sweet. But yeah, that's what's upcoming. Can't wait for number 3. So based on history, it looks as though the battle passes are no longer giving out special or legendary parts. And not special or epic parts. So it's very likely that whatever the last devlog is going to be more legendary stuff. Hopefully it's another weapon, one that is less lackluster than this one, but more lackluster than this one. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. Peace.